So we started at the end, mostly because I learned from one of my mentors years ago that the best thing you can do is have an exit strategy or an elegant exit, or learn to fall first. And he used to teach his children how to fall off motorcycles before they learned to ride them. So how do you fall? And that's why we did the relationship postmortem videos first, so that you could learn how to fall with elegance and have an elegant exit strategy, but also do it with the most power. Reclaim your own power without giving it away to the object of your anger or resentment and like that. And we've been on a long journey together. Relationship postmortem, and then we covered relationship continuum, which is, I think we're up to 20 some odd videos now. And now we're going to end at the beginning. How do you set yourself up for success? How do you relate to relationship in a way that gives you the most power, the most access to power, the most choice? And we are going to cover a whole host of things. And this will be the only time you've ever seen me refer to notes in any of these videos. Mostly I just know what I want to talk about, and I know the ideas, I get them in my head, I turn the camera on, and I start to record. But this time, I want to just, because we're doing an overview, I just want you to get what's going to happen in this first section, in the relationship genesis, which is really, how do you set yourself up for success in love, dating, relationship? And by the way, in terms of relationship, the more I think about these concepts, if you remove the sex away from any of it and the intimacy away from any of it, it's applicable to any kind of relationship, business or friendship, and while I've spent some time over the last couple of years exploring alternative ways of relating to relating, I return to what I know what works. And so there's some basic agreements and ground rules, and these are, in terms of dating, these are first and second date things, really. And you sort out a fit immediately. So for those of you who want to be efficient and you're swiping left or right, I have found that beyond the swiping, you need to drill down deep fast. So here are some of the concepts that we're going to cover in the relationship genesis portion of the relating arc. Well, I'll figure out some name for it, some clever name, but general frames, is it, and again, I'm going to be looking at some notes here, so you're going to see me look up and, is it for comfort or is it for transformation or some degree of both? The blame versus responsibility continuum spectrum, chemistry, which is what most people, or proximity, she's close by. It's just the worst possible reason to choose somebody who as a lover or as a dating partner. Are your values aligned? But not only that, is the form in which they would manifest for you in alignment. So, as an example, communication is important to you. Oh, great. Yeah, communication is important to me too. Yay. And then we go off and now, for them, the communication means you ask them about their day. And for you, it means that they share their process when they're making a decision. It's a recipe for conflict down the road. You think you're aligned with values, but you also need to talk about the forms. Relationship form. Is it monogamy? Is it polyamory? Is it polysexual? Is it swinging? Are you partners in mutual fantasy fulfillment? Which I think is a lovely way to approach a relationship if you look at, all the reasons. We'll get into it. We'll drill into it. Conscious relating versus unconscious relating, which, by the way, a lot of people want to talk about relating consciously, but they don't want to do the fucking work. And yeah, it can look like a bunch of processing, but trust me, if you lay all this stuff out in the first couple of dates, you make explicit agreements, then you guys can actually play. And you can relax into it because the ground rules are set. And don't make the mistake I made over and over and over again, which is, everything's great. Oh, we don't want to talk about this, or we don't want to, but it's not romantic to make agreements right out front? Yeah, it may not be, but it is wise. And explicitness versus assumptions, because in the world of the global marketplace of ideas, but I've even met people who they live down the street from each other, they grew up next to each other, they went to the same church, and they have radically different ideas about what relationships are supposed to look like. Radically different. So you shouldn't really make any assumptions. So we're going to talk about what agreements to lay down, how conflict can lead to connection, how evolutionary stage does not map to form, all the stuff that doesn't really resonate with any of you because you're like, what the fuck is this geek talking about? Here's what you need to know. All of these distinctions came out of me going, wow, that was a really, and I'm a romantic, that was a really painful experience. What do people need to learn? What do I need to learn so I don't experience that pain again? My divorce story is probably one of the most grisly divorce stories out. Like, I've only ever heard one that was worse. And not that I want to like, oh, I had worse pain than you. But because I have, and I'm actually 2 girlfriends ago, I had a girl say, I want to be the first woman who hasn't fucked you over. It's like, wow, I don't relate to it that way. I relate to it like there was things I didn't learn, things I didn't, but mostly questions I didn't ask. And if you have that orientation, how am I responsible and what can I learn? And then you put structures in place, then you can experience less and less pain and experience more and more joy. Now, the truth is, because of my particular, I'll say preferences for depth and intimacy, I go long periods of time being single and celibate. So I just want to warn you that this isn't going to get you laid. It's not going to help you date somebody faster. But when you do find that person, when you do finally connect with them, it will make it a far more profound, far more deep connection. Sometimes it also means you grieve longer as well, but at some point, when you've had enough sex and you've had enough unworkable relating, and you are looking for conditions that will allow it to work, and you're looking for depth and intimacy and a way to set ground rules so that you can go deeper, faster, and you can open your heart, then you want to quit wasting time with people who aren't a fit. And you're like, oh crap, a year later, like, shit, it's not a fit. Yeah. You're going to want to watch these videos. And it will include tips for first, second, and third dates. It'll include how to have the conversations around agreements and how to handle conflict. All the things, really. So there's going to be about a dozen videos, it looks like, looking at the outline, for the relationship genesis. And I just want to give a shout out to Desiree Cruz. She said a few things in the conversation we had, but the important thing here is she said, I will help you become relevant. And she really has. She's helped crystallize my thinking around the relationship arc. So thank you, Desiree. I will always love you. She is and forever will remain the love of my life. And she's certainly made a lot of these concepts relevant by helping me put them into the relationship context. So happy Easter. Or as we like to say in Lunacy Land, happy Easter.